And joining us now is North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum. Thank you so much, Governor, for joining us. You had a little more than 8 minutes, I think 8 minutes and 4 seconds tonight. You had the least amount of speaking time of any of the candidates. You seem to try to interrupt. What did you think about the amount of time and attention you got tonight?
Well, it's not just about time, Lindsay. It's also about sort of lead on target, as we say, because we were delivering a message about energy, the economy, and national security that everybody needs to hear. But it was a little, I have to say, a little frustrating when you're the only person who's created thousands and thousands of jobs on the stage, the only person that's worked for 30 years in the private sector, the only person that has been making payroll since my mid-20s, and then taken that experience from the private sector and delivered it into a state which is a leading ag, leading energy, leading national security state that's got a 360-mile border. And I was 45 minutes into the thing before I got asked a single question. So again, these are supposed to be political debates, not supposed to be just a crosstalk exercise. But we fought to get our message in there. We're going to keep fighting and get our message in because we know, like the guy just on before me says, how do you differentiate? Well, you differentiate. You don't take a career politician and stick them back in the White House. You take somebody who's proven in the private sector how they can solve the problems that we're facing and how they've taken that private sector experience and made it work in government.
There was a particular moment, I can't remember if it was about artificial intelligence or TikTok, but you said, look, I'm the only guy on the stage here with the software background. What did you want to say in that moment? Because they didn't give you a chance to answer.
Well, everybody's sort of, I'd say, pussyfooting around, you know, these soft answers. But when it was in 1989 as a young entrepreneur, one of my first trips to China, I went into a street market and I found our software for sale for $1 for a 5 1/4 inch floppy when we were selling it for $5,000 a module. And so I know what it's like to have personally the IP that we developed stolen by China, but only for the last 34 years I've known that. And every software company I was involved with afterwards, they stole everything that we made. And so now we've got some people that have figured out in the last couple of months that China's a problem. I've known that my whole life.
What issue do you feel, or issues do you feel, was overlooked tonight?
They said this debate was going to be about the economy, and literally we talked about it for the first 10 minutes and didn't even ask a question to the only business person on the stage. And the economy and the inflation issue is driven by Joe Biden's policies. You can't print this much money. You can't subsidize certain industries. You can't just chase an energy policy that is our actual existential threat is the climate policy, not the climate. The climate policy, which is weakening our economy, enabling dictators around the world. Literally, climate policy is part of the reason why Putin invaded Ukraine. How is that possible? Well, we let all of Western Europe get dependent on Russian energy. That's how this happens. We've got to understand economy, energy, national security are all completely interlinked, and that really wasn't discussed tonight.
You interrupted on the stage to talk about President Biden going to the picket lines of a strike. Do you believe it's appropriate for a president to do so?
Well, I think it's fine if he goes there, but he should be honest that part of the reason why they're striking is because of his energy policies. The energy policies of the Biden administration to try to subsidize electric vehicles could wipe out 2/3 of the jobs of the UAW. And he's there like, I'm with you. He's not with them. He's actually driving the policy that's going to stop the creation of internal combustion machines, which, by the way, are getting more efficient. The fuels are getting cleaner. If you want to solve the environmental problem, you don't outsource our battery production to the biggest polluter in the world, China, who pollutes far more than any other country. The nation that's taken the most CO2 out of the air is the United States. Biden doesn't understand this. Maybe he doesn't understand why they're striking. But this is not just about wages. It's about the fact that the industrial policy driven by the Biden administration is picking winners, and they're picking cars that are powered by EVs, by batteries, over cars that are powered by American U.S. energy. So if you're on the Biden energy plan, you're on Team China. If you want to be on Team Liquid Fuels, then you can be on Team USA.
You know, we heard from Chris Christie and Ron DeSantis in particular about how Donald Trump owes it to the American people in order to be on that debate stage. But I'm curious, I want to kind of flip that on its head. And I wonder if, as a candidate who's polling still in the single digits, if you feel that it's a better opportunity for those who are trying to get their names out there to the American people to be able to make their case directly to the American people without having Donald Trump on the debate stage.
Every campaign's got to make their own decision about whether they participate or not. And, you know, Chris Christie's got his viewpoint about this. The Trump campaign can make their decisions, but we're on this debate stage. We're going to be on the next one, and we're going to keep delivering our message, which is what the American people want to hear, is that we've got a solution to the economic problems that Biden's created. We've got a solution to have American energy, to allow American energy propel us back to dominance as a country, and to also solve the issue of national security, including the border. Because, by the way, talked about the border tonight, wasn't asked a border question. I'm the only governor that's actually got troops on the border right now. I'm not waiting till I'm president. When I'm your president, yes, we'll secure the border, but I'm working on it right now because we've got North Dakota National Guard troops down there flying helicopter missions from West Coast to Gulf Coast, trying to stop these transnational criminal organizations, which in many times are better financed than our team because of the way the Biden administration is defunding the Border Patrol.
You've said that we shouldn't worry about climate change, but instead climate policy. Do you believe that humans are causing climate change?
If humans are causing climate change issues, then what we should do is figure out how to get the most CO2 out of air. If CO2 is the issue, we should work on reducing those emissions. But what do we have? We got the Biden administration fighting against an industry that has actually achieved that more than any other industry and more than any other country on the planet. Because what the U.S. energy has done is they've led the world in taking CO2 out of the air. If you want to reduce CO2, you want to do it through innovation, not through regulation. When we try to kill U.S. energy and we're outsourcing, you know who loves that? OPEC loves that because I guess we'll buy our gas from them and oil and gas from them. And China loves it because we're going to buy our batteries from China. It makes no sense for the environment, and it makes no sense for our economy. It makes no sense for national security to pursue the fantasy of these environmental policies that the Biden administration is pushing with your taxpayer dollars.
Governor Doug Burgum, really appreciate your time tonight.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.